Hello, gentlemen. It's been ages. Welcome back to the Game Club podcast, the game podcast where we game and talk about games and do games and game with games and games. And
Like a
games.
gaming on May podcast.
We are at the coming to the end of quite a long recording session, and my brain is fucking fried. So, how are you doing, guys? My name's Joey. I'm joined by Alex.
Jesus Christ.
And Tim.
I'm really looking forward to talking about this game of all games when Joey's brain is fried.
Yes, and we will be talking about Metal Gear Solid. So, spoiler warning for Metal Gear Solid, the kind of PlayStation. I was going to say the original, not the original Metal Gear game, but no, the very popular one. Right, before we get into it, we always do a question, and I remembered that we had to do a question about 4 seconds before I pressed play on this recording episode. My God, it's going to be a long one. Guys, I first remember seeing Metal Gear Solid at our cousin's house, and it was the scene with the torture electric. You have to tap to keep someone alive, and I remember our cousin nearly throwing the controller through the TV. So, what is the most pointless and frustrating element to an otherwise good game that you can remember? Tim.
Any of the combat in Silent Hill F.
Wow. That's strong. The most pointless and frustrating.
It's the most frustrating for sure.
Okay. Fair enough. Alex?
Certainly in recent memory.
God, that
Can I
Can
throw
I give
another
you-
one in the ring?
Of course, yeah.
Going up any stairs in the original Skate.
Well, you couldn't get off the board, yeah.
Correct.
So the one I thought of was, other than the, Metal Gear Solid example, is Tim and I used to have a game on the Nintendo 64 called Mischief Makers. And
Hell
Mischief
yeah.
Makers was a brilliant game that no one ever really talks about. But basically what you had to do was get from one side of the screen to another side of the screen while solving puzzles and platforming along the way. But there was one level that made our mum actually didn't want us playing anymore because if other people were in the room, it made them feel physically sick. Tim, do you remember what that level was called?
It was called Seasick Climb.
It was called Seasick Climb. And basically the whole thing, the screen shook from left to right like this while you were doing it, but the background stayed just off. So it was
Yeah.
like this. And the whole point in it was to make you feel sick as you played the game.
Yeah.
It was dreadful.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. There was another level in it called it was the something, whatever planet you were on, it was that Olympics.
Planet Marina.
Planet Marina Olympics, and you had to mash your controller to the point of, I think, like our thumbs bled while we played it because you had to mash the controller so fast. Otherwise, you couldn't progress in the game.
Yeah.
Great game, but some very strange choices.
Yeah. The words,
Alex.
the phrase shake, shake will be burned into my brain forever.
Shake, shake.
Shake, shake.
Alex.
95% of the QuickTime inputs from Heavy Rain.
What do you mean? That was the best bit.
I had to go back through our schedule because I was like, God, surely there's got to be something in the things we've played. And the majority of just the buttons you had to press while playing Heavy Rain.
But
Just,
what? I mean, you spent ages trying to turn the shower on in the
Yeah, and
tutorial. Like,
Can I-
running around a busy shopping mall pressing A to shout Jason.
I have my Steam Deck
Jason.
here. I'm going to show you the controls I had to use to brush my teeth in Heavy Rain.
And so what Tim was talking about, shake shake, is when you grabbed any object in Mischief Makers and used the C-pad, it would do this.
Shake, shake.
There you go.
You would shake. They called them the
Tim
cancer
just had a
clan or something, didn't
visceral
they?
reaction.
Can't remember.
It
to
was
be
something
honest
like
with
that, but like
you.
you would shake them and they would drop like gems and stuff.
If ever we do like a retro games episode or two, Mischief Makers and Space Station Silicon Valley are the ones that I would do for the Nintendo 64.
Tonic Trouble as well.
Tonic Trouble Super Ed.
Super Ed, yeah.
Very weird
Tim.
game.
Tim, I've got one that I'm surprised you didn't mention.
What is it?
It's Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, the Chow
The
Garden
Chow
isn't.
Garden.
The Chow Garden isn't frustrating. It's just entirely asinine.
It's just always fun to remind you
In
of
a
it.
game about going fast, why am I stopping to pet some animals I don't particularly give a fuck about?
Well, after hearing the words, why am I stopping to pet some animals I couldn't give a fuck about? Let's move on to the game that we're here to talk about, and that is Metal Gear Solid. So Metal Gear Solid was released on 3 different dates across the world.
Thank you,
Japan-
Kojima.
Japan managed to get it on September 3rd, 1998. North America got it a month later, October 21st, 1998. But us in Europe, us paupers, had to wait another 4 months. February 22nd, 1999, this game came out, and it was only on the PlayStation. It was published by Konami and developed by Kojima. Developed by Konami Computer Entertainment, but directed as kind of his standout, his kind of breakthrough Hideo Kojima game. Now, we all know that he is weird and loves a cinematic game, and that all stemmed from this game.
Yep.
Absolute
I love
cinema.
Kojima weirdness. I love Kojima weirdness so much.
So the game itself is a stealth adventure game. I think that's fair to say. And its review scores, Metacritic gave it a 94 out of 100, which is universally acclaimed. So that's across the 3 releases. IGN gave it a 9.8 and praised it as one of the finest action games ever created. GameSpot, 8.5 out of 10, lauded for its cinematic direction, art style, and voice acting. PlayStation Magazine, Shock Horror, gave it a 5 out of 5. Next Generation Magazine gave it a 5 out of 5. Electronic Gaming Monthly, EGM, gave it 9.5 out of 10. It also won Japan Arts Festival Excellence in Interactive Art, and also won Electronic Gaming Monthly's 1998 Gamers' Choice Awards for PlayStation Game of the Year, Adventure Game of the Year, Best Sound Effects, Best Graphics, and it won the E3 Industry Award, Best of Show, and Best Action Game ahead of its launch.
So it's a little indie title.
Little indie title. I mean, if you haven't heard of Metal Gear Solid and you're listening to this, I'd be very surprised. But I want to hear thoughts on the game, bearing in mind it came out 28 years ago.
That sounds right.
28 years ago. From
1998.
Tim, please.
Game great. Like it still holds up. There's some limitations from like when the game first launched on what is, very, very outdated hardware by today's standards. But
5 generations.
Exactly.
Since then.
So if you're keeping that in mind, this game still absolutely stands up, in my opinion. Its stealth is not, an afterthought. It's very much at the core of its main gameplay loop. It's rewarding in its puzzle elements. It's combat's not its strong suit, but equally combat is not the focus. So I think if you're getting into combat, you're probably doing it wrong. But with that in mind, there's also a million ways to approach any given scenario. Like given the tools that you got available through pickups that you'll find on the ground, through just pure skill. It's engaging. It's weird. It's Hideo Kojima like on a disc essentially.
That's fair. Alex,
Did we play the same game?
I bloody hope so, because there is a million versions on Steam.
I hated this.
Oh,
I did not have
controversial
a good
opinion.
time. Now, I will say, I didn't grow up with Metal Gear, never played Metal Gear. This is my first Metal Gear that I've played properly. I
Alex, why
grew
are
up
you on
on,
this podcast? If this is your
I
first Metal
don't,
Gear experience and
and Wand of
Legend of
Gamelon was my
Zelda,
first
Wand of
Zelda.
Gamelon, um, just wild.
Famously, I don't play video games.
I just hate them. Hate the medium.
I so my stealth action game, and we mentioned this in the Splinter Cell cutscenes. My
Spoiler for
stealth
what that is.
was Splinter Cell. Never played a Metal Gear, and I've heard nothing but glowing reviews every time anyone ever mentions Metal Gear Solid. So when I started playing it, I was thoroughly underwhelmed. um, and I'm willing to admit that a lot of it is probably whatever the opposite to recency bias is. It's limitations of the technology at the time, but the controls were janky, the voice acting was irritating, the gameplay was run around and either get shot or find a door. And I just really didn't have a good time with it.
Just like being in Hull.
Well,
Run
yeah.
around, get shot, or find a door.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a shame. I think honestly, if you're running around and getting shot, the stealth element has probably passed you by, Alex.
Maybe. I mean,
I-
some of it I did do the stealth properly, and you managed to get past. But I found controlling it very, very, very janky.
I will give you that the controls are not the strong suit. I found that even in the very first bit where you get out of the water and you are expected to get to the front door while um, uh, avoiding two guards. I found that really difficult the first time I played it, but once I got used to it, yeah, I understood it a bit more. But yeah, if it's your first experience, it's a 28-year-old game. I understand that you might not enjoy it. I think what would be interesting is if you played one of the later Metal Gears where they've polished out things like the controls, they've polished out the stealth. But for a first 3D stealth game, and I think this is one of the first 3D stealth games released, I'm with Tim. I think it still holds up. Like, we should say that the version we played was the remastered version on Steam that was released in 2023. So whilst it probably looks a bit better, which I would argue it probably doesn't, it's very polygony, it's very of its era.
I always find with those games though that like if you're remastering a game from like the 1990s, you're not blessed with the joy that is CRT filtering on a TV.
Yeah.
So like it's not going to look as good because the blemishes are much more prevalent.
I think what the remaster did was basically make it widescreen.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's fine if that's all it
Yeah.
wanted to do.
That's fine. I agree with Tim. But no, I think that the game holds up personally. I think that David Hayter as a voice actor is awesome. His voice is synonymous with Snake, and I feel like every time I hear it, I'm like, hell yeah. I feel like the story was wacky and stupid, which is what you want from a Kojima game. And this kind of set the stall for I'm Hideo Kojima, and these are wacky and stupid games. I think that. Sorry, go on, Tim.
I was just to add on to your Kojima point. I'm now going to reference Bowie for the next 40 years of my life.
I don't know what you mean. He's never referenced anywhere, Bowie. I think as well in the early days of, well, I don't know if this is early days of PlayStation, but obviously in first gen video game consoles, to have the voice acting and the level of voice acting within this game, it's one of the first games that is like holds up on its cinematics as well as its gameplay. So I think I understand why you would find it difficult as a fresh experience in 2026, but kind of looking at this in 2026 on the remastered version, as well as thinking about when it was released and we played it probably in the year 2000, like this to me, I think holds up. I think it just looks good, it feels good, and sounds excellent. But I'll get into the story. So, in the distant future, 2005,
So far away.
yeah, so far away,
Can't
Rogue
wait for
Special
it.
Forces unit Foxhound seizes a secret nuclear facility on Alaska's remote Shadow Moses Island. They threaten to strike, send nukes out in 24 hours unless the US government hands over the remains of legendary mercenary Big Boss. Desperate to stop them, they said they pull Solid Snake out of retirement and send him in to infiltrate the base and take down Foxhound. The island is full of mad soldiers and regular soldiers, as well as loads of mech, which are Metal Gears, tanks, a weird bloke in a gas mask that can read your memory card. And throughout the game, you unlock more and more secrets as to what's actually going on in the island. And in the weird Hideo Kojima way, he pulls out that you as Solid Snake and one of the people that you're fighting against, I think it was Ocelot, are actually clones of Big Boss, and you are what is described as, I think it's the recessive clone. I can't remember, but you're basically the not as good one. No, it's Solid Snake and Liquid Snake. Sorry, are the clones. You fight cyborg ninjas. You fight a bloke with a big revolver who looks really old, but actually I don't think is meant to be that old in the game. You fight Psycho Mantis, who is the bloke in a gas mask who can read your memory card, and it did things like it smashed the fourth wall, like no other game had done, where it made you change the controller input that you were playing on so that it couldn't read your mind and which way you were moving and how you were going to attack. I think that, not I think that, Snake infiltrates the island, he dismantles the Metal Gear, and, but in the final fight, Liquid Snake gets away and parts of Foxhound escape, and it's all set up for a sequel because it's cinematic and we couldn't not leave it on a cliffhanger. Fair
Yeah.
assessment?
Very fair
I've
assessment.
missed out so much of the weird shit, like talking to the guy who tells you where to go while he's having a poo, and the people who randomly die of heart attacks, and the torture scene where you have to tap the circle button to stop Snake from losing all his life while he's being electrocuted. But I feel like if we were to go into all of that, I might melt and die because my brain is already fried. Now, guys, what was your favorite point in the game?
I mean, it's going to be a cliche answer because it's obviously one of the most iconic boss fights in the game, but Psycho Mantis. Certainly playing it back in the day where he reads your memory card, and the thing he does after it, he tells you as the player to put your controller on the floor so he can vibrate it across the room.
Yeah.
And then after that, like you lose control of your character, and you end up like Snake will call the Colonel, who you speak to on your earpiece, and he'll just go, "Try putting the controller into port 2." They do not give a fuck about immersion sometimes in this game, and it's fantastic. There's a point where you lose your codex entries. So like you've basically got like a Rolodex essentially of entries that you can call people on, and you just outright lose it. And so the game encourages you to look at the back of the box that the game came in to get Colonel's entry.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Crazy. And if you want a really quick and probably better way of learning how the story of Metal Gear Solid, just go and watch Metal Gear Awesome. Because I'll be honest, when I watched Metal Gear Awesome for the first time, I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid, and I was astounded at how accurate it was because that animation is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
out
mean,
there.
that was something I wanted to bring up because I've obviously seen Metal Gear Awesome long before playing this, and playing through the game, I was just sat there like, oh my god, that wasn't hyperbole. They weren't, over exaggerating. Snake actually goes, oh my god, look at that ass.
Yeah, and the wiggle of Meryl's ass as she walked away from you is genuinely important to the plot because it reveals a code. Like
ridiculous.
that sort of just ridiculous stuff that Kojima is just more than happy to throw into his game. Fantastic. More of that, please.
Yeah. Alex, what was your favorite bit?
I mean, there's the easy answer going, oh, when I closed it, but I'm not going to do that. I quite liked a couple of times I found ways to beat things that the game didn't tell you. So there's an air hangar you have to get through, and Natasha says to you, "Oh, use your cigarette smoke to see the laser beams." I just put thermal goggles on instead, and it made it so much easier. And it was a similar situation in the fight against Ninja, because you don't get any hints with that before you go into it. But I died a few times, got frustrated, went to Reddit of all places, and it was like, oh, you need to throw the chaff grenades at him because that'll stun him, and you can get up to him and you can beat the shit out of him. I was like, okay. So I did that, and then it was like, oh, don't use guns. I was like, all right, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Just beat the crap out of him. And then he went invisible, and I tried to throw a shaft grenade, and I was like, I can't see him. Wait a minute. Thermal goggles.
Thermal goggles.
I
So
think my favorite part of the game was thermal goggles.
that was the whole game, wasn't it? Thermal
Yeah.
goggles, the game.
But I think the point there is, and I mentioned it earlier, so there's a million and one ways to do things in this game. You could use cigarette smoke, or you could just brute force the lasers, or you can use thermal goggles. The one that stands out to me is when Snake is locked up in a cell and he needs to escape, but he doesn't have any of his equipment, but he does have a packet of ketchup. So what you can do is just repeatedly bang on the door until the guard comes in and you have a fight with him. You can hide under the bed so the guard thinks he's already escaped and then take him out by his legs, or you can cover yourself in ketchup and lie on the floor so the guard thinks you've bled out in your cell somehow.
Yeah. It's really impressive for the kind of time that it came out. I think I just think it was I remember playing it. I probably played this a month ago now and thinking there are games that come out now that don't give you this much leeway to do what you want. And I think you can see a lot of influence on other games that Metal Gear Solid has. But none of them have got Kojima on unless they're Metal Gear Solid.
No.
None of them have that weird kind of this guy is gets his hand chopped off by a cyborg ninja that's never mentioned beforehand kind of levels.
But I promise
I
it's
thought it was
important.
just a really dumb fun time, and it is important for the sequel, which is good fun. What else do you want to talk about, guys? Is there anything else here that or do you want to just close it off and go to scores?
I'll be happy to go to school. I know it's to be a short episode, but what
Yeah.
hasn't already been said about Metal Gear?
What hasn't been said? Maybe we'll just loop the audio from Metal Gear Awesome in here. We won't do that because we'll get taken down.
Copyright striked out the arse.
But yeah. So
Damn right.
I'll go to Tim. Visual and audio. What score are you going to give this?
I'm going to give it like an 8. I really dig this thing. And I don't just mean like it was an 8 for the time. I actually really dig the PS1 aesthetic. And that's probably
Okay.
heavy nostalgia talking, but, I like it. And the sound design is fantastic. The voice acting alone for like the amount of voice acting that went into this game, even on a technical level, would have been mind-blowing at the time. I think it's immersive. I think everything is super clearly laid out. I think it's great. It's something I'm going to go with an 8.
Nice. Alex?
I'm going to talk purely of for the time, because if we go off modern standards, it's like a 1 across the board for this.
Whoa! Even for
well,
the
the-
audio, I'm sorry.
well,
That's
the audio's
no.
okay. I think for me it's probably a 7. I got to the point with some of it because I've been doing more 3D sort of modeling stuff recently, I was looking at things on there going, I know exactly where the polygons are in that because it is that old of a game. You can see them.
They're also
But
building it on a bread bin and hope.
God, yeah, like this is what I mean. Like you can't. There's no getting away from the fact of how sort of important this game was to the furthering of the games industry and games like it. But by modern standards, it doesn't look good anymore. But I am, like I say, working purely off of the standard of the time. Yeah, 7.
With some
Joey?
choice things said there, Alex. I am going to give it a 7.5. I think that, like Tim, I think it holds up. I think that the aesthetic, PS1 aesthetic, right? I'm not like Tim. I wouldn't go out and intentionally buy a game because it looks like a PS1 game. But I think that for the time, they were recognizable individual people. They had recognizable faces. There was loads and loads and loads of environments. And all of this was packed onto a disc that actually the capacity of it is not that high. I think the sound is where it shines. When a guard finds you and you get the alert noise, Tim, what does that sound like?
Like a boy.
Yeah. The noise of when the guards are chasing you. What noise is that, Tim?
Bum, 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 ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba.
Even the knocking on the wall to alert the guards to where you are, I think, is a great sound. And then,
What does that sound like, Tim?
go on.
That didn't pick it up.
It did pick it up, but it wasn't that good. But it sounds great in the game. But the sound and the voice acting, I've put this in. I know it's not from the game, but it is from the man himself.
The clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting the guards.
I mean, come on. David
David
Hayter's
Hayter.
voice,
It's
the
iconic.
Colonel's voice, they are so good. Even Cyborg,
Grey Fox.
Cyborg Ninja, Grey Fox.
Great
The-
Fox.
The distortion on his voice is so iconic. The voice of Psycho Mantis, which is Tim.
I'm going to be a boss.
There you go. That's like, you know who he's talking about. I think the sound pulls it up. If we did sound and visual separate, sound would probably be a 10 for me. Visual lower, but overall 7.5.
By the way, he says, I see you like to play Castlevania because he picks up on other Konami games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Alex, the storytelling.
I mean, it's a mental story. It's, as we've said before, it's a Kojima special, so it's all over the place. And while at its core, it's a very generic, ooh, the American soldiers got sent in to stop a terrorist kind of story. The layers that they put on top of it with all the experimentation and the Psycho Mantis fucking with your mind and, you know, all of it, it's a good story. I didn't get all the way through the game, so I don't know the full story, but because of references in other media and things like Metal Gear Awesome, I'm aware of the story. 7.5.
Nice. Fair. Tim?
It's Kojima. This man exists on planes that we cannot possibly comprehend. I love it. I love batshit conspiratorial nonsense, and this is that, but on a PS1. You know that Pepe Silvia meme of Charlie pointing at like the red string board saying Pepe
Yeah.
Silvia doesn't exist? This is that game. It's ridiculous, it's campy, it's corny, but at the same time, it's got like genuine socio-political commentary in it. It's deep, it's narrative, the characters are thought out. You can't trust a single person in the game, even though like at points you may have to, but really against your own will. It's so damn good that I would probably want to give this like a 9.5.
Nice.
Big
I
ups.
went for a 9 for the same reason that Tim laid out there, but I'm not as generous as him. So, can someone remind me, please, what the third category is? I cannot for the life of me remember.
Gameplay.
Gameplay. Thank you.
The
Okay.
important one.
Gameplay. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I think there are so many mechanics. I think that the controls, the movement, hold it up quite a lot. If the movement was better and more accessible for 26, I would give this probably a 9.5 or a 10. But I just found the kind of almost tanky controls were very, very, very dated. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Alex.
You're not going to like this, but it's a 6 for me.
That's okay.
Higher than I thought
I
you were going to
did.
give it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of them. You can't deny that. In terms of gameplay, it offers you so many options of things to do, and it's obviously been heavily influential in modern gaming through the years.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it incredibly frustrating to play.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. Like Tim said, I expected it a bit lower, to be honest. Tim.
Yeah. I mean, how do I want to put this? It's not the lack of ideas in approaching any given problem in this game. It's sometimes the execution, mostly in the form of, I don't want to get caught. Whoops, I've gotten caught. Oh no, I'm getting shot. Kind of an issue. In that, like,
Yeah.
sometimes you'll be like, okay, I'm going to navigate around this garden. I'm going to take out this guy. I'm going to smoke bomb this camera. I'm going to do all this stuff, and I can't find the vent that I saw 10 minutes ago. Just those sorts of things. But I think that's a real nitpick. And you know what? I think it gets cleared up. I think it's fine. It's obviously much better in later titles with much larger leaps in technology. And I think this is a fantastic jumping off point. I'm going to go with an 8.
Nice. So my one, I have an average of an 8.1. Alex, what's your average?
6.83.
I have an
Oof,
8.5.
Okay. Tim? 8.5. Lovely stuff. So together we have an average of 7.81, which, you know, I'm all
That's
right
pretty
with.
good.
7.8.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good between three of us, particularly when Alex really hated the game. So, no shade to you. You're allowed to dislike a game.
I don't hate the series, and I recognize the influence that this game has had. It's just I did not have a good time playing it.
Absolutely fine. When you say you don't hate the series, how do you know you don't hate the series?
I
What other
don't
games
hate
have
what
you
it's.
played?
I haven't played any. I don't hate what it presents.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, 7.81 for what is one of the most influential games of all time.
But when you put it like that, the score sounds bad.
Please come back. We need you to listen.
Please, viewers, we're begging for sponsorships and we can't have the numbers go down.
Oh, Tim,
Hello.
just a quick thing. There's someone behind you. I think they've spotted you.
Oh, maybe they'll break my neck and finally end me.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Game Club Pod. Much love.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye.
What was that noise?
What was that noise? Shut up unless your ass talking.
Snake, to climb the ladder, you need to use the action button.